So we got a sister here who's going to go to child support court to say something that's probably going to make a lot of baby mamas mad and even the courts upset. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
Okay, so they locked my baby daddy up for child support, my oldest. I was so mad. I went to court and they had him in. Well, let me tell y'all from the beginning. So I went to the courtroom and I sat down. And the bailiff came running over and he was like, "You can't sit there, you can't sit there." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "All the men on this side, all the females on this side." And I started looking around the courtroom like, God dang. So they separate the females and the males. And I thought that was strange. And I just thought it was strange. So while I was sitting there waiting for them to call my name, I was matching this man with this woman, just, biding my time. So when they called my name and my baby daddy name, they brought him out in an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs and shackles. And that pissed me off even more. I was so mad. I told Your Honor, I let her say what she was going to say. Then I was like, Your Honor, I want all child support struck. I want current arrears and future struck today. And the whole courtroom went crazy. It was just like everybody was talking. She had to hit the gavel and she was like, boom, 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 boom. And and then she was like, "Do you understand what you're saying?" And I was like, "Yes." And so they took me outside the courtroom. They have two rooms on either side of the hallway, right after as soon as you go out the courtroom. So they brought me in there, and I was sitting in there for a long time. The bailiff came in, and he was like, "Is anybody making you feel uncomfortable? Or is anybody threatening you? Or do you feel like, you're under duress to do this?" And I was like, "No, no, no. My daughter loves her daddy. And y'all not keeping him. I want him out of there today, and I want all child support struck." So he left back out. He came back in about 10 minutes later. He was like, "Let me see your ID. I need to see your ID." And I was like, "For real?" So I showed him my ID and stuff. So when he left back out, I was in there for a while. And then he came back and I signed some papers and stuff. And when I came out the courtroom, it was me and standing outside the courtroom. It was like, "Can you talk to my baby mama, please?" And I was like, I don't know what to say to your baby mama, but it just wasn't for me. My daughter loved her daddy. I didn't give a damn what he had going on. My daughter loved her daddy. I didn't need his money. I needed him. As far as my daughter was concerned. So, yeah, that happened.
So this lady, want to give her a shout out because she understand the assignment. Two people make a child. That once that child is born, number one, that child becomes number one priority. Not your feelings, not your relationship, not if you mad because he may have moved on to someone else, you may have moved on to someone else, whatever the case may be, that's not important. The important thing is that child and the relationship that child has with both parents. You don't want your child to grow up like hating one of the other parent, thinking that you're doing something smart when actually you are actually hurting that child. Creating it's bad enough that y'all are not together, so that's already going to cause internal issues, mental issues with them that as a parent you may not see at first, but you got to think about kids who may see other kids who have their father, who have their mother in the same house, and they don't have that. Or kids who have a father that's in their lives, but then they don't have a father in their lives because the baby mama and the daddy, for whatever reason, whoever fault it is, they're not talking, not getting along. So now the baby mama won't let the child or won't let the child see the father or the father see the child. And that child's going to grow up and ask questions. Want to know why that child, well, why the dad didn't want her, didn't like her, didn't come around. I heard many times a guy say, "Man, I tried to see my child, try to have a relationship, but that dang baby mama, man, she was trifling. She wouldn't let me see him. Every time I go pick her up, she got a problem. When my girl was over, she had an issue, wouldn't let, what I'm saying, when we had visitation, When it's time for the pickup or the drop off, she wasn't there, or she changed the time, or she would do some foul stuff, keep taking me back to child support court, trying to get me put in jail. So I was like, I just, so guys say I just relinquish all rights because I'm tired of it. And I can understand that to a point because the court system is not cheap. Fighting for certain rights, visitations, or custodies, if you keep going, it can last months, it can last years, to the point that where a guy can get tired and then he gives up. And then the first thing they say is, he didn't love you. Look at that. He gave up visitation, gave up rights to you because he's a no good dad. When he didn't even have to get to that point. If you just let him see his child and okay, you don't get no money. Okay, that's understandable. Be pissed off about that. These are things that you can deal with in court. Right. But the thing is, visitation and money, the courts will tell you, are not the same. Those are two separate things. I know they both are in court, but they're like two separate orders. He can pay child support and not see the baby. But if he sees a child and doesn't pay court order child support, his butt can go to jail. He could be in that child's life every day doing things. But if he ain't paying, that can create a problem. So she said, number one, the main thing is her daughter loves her father. Children want time, period. Point blank. They want the time. They want the affection. They don't want the mother talking bad about the dad. They don't need the mother talking bad about the dad. They don't need the mother keeping them from the father, because I've seen cases. Whatever. I know people, know guys, and hell, even the kids who thought one thing about their father, but then they go and talk to the dad, and the dad got a totally different story than what the mom has. And then when you hear the guy's story, it's like, you know what? That makes sense. That makes sense. And then when the mother is confronted, she ain't got nothing to say about it. All she do is get upset. Want to know why you talking to him? Why you mad? Why you asking him these questions? Why you going looking for your dad? He wasn't around. This and the third one. Really, he was. And he tried to be. See, the thing about it is, if that dad wants to see that child, if he's not abusing him, neglecting, then by all means, you should let that child and father have a relationship. The older that child gets, let that child. I remember one time I knew, let's see, let me see. So I knew a guy who had a daughter who was like close to people I knew. And the mother and the another lady, they would sit there and talk bad about the dad, in front of the child. The child was little, to the point to where I was like, told that child, hey, I need you and so y'all go in the back and play. Y'all go whatever. And so the little kids go in the play, and I tell them I say, look, I don't care what y'all think about so and so. Don't ever talk bad about him in front of his child. If he's a deadbeat, if he ain't gonna do nothing for him, she'll let her figure it out. She'll grow up and she'll realize exactly who he is for what he is, and let her be the judge. That you don't put that in her head, because who knows, tomorrow he may change. A year from now, he may get it right. A couple years from now, it may take him a little while to get it right. And then, but by the time he gets it right and doing what he really needs to do fully, she'd already came to a conclusion of the person that he is. And it's going to be hard for her to change her mind about him because of what you said. Because she's going to want to try to make her want her mama to be right. Want to try to please her mama and be on her mama team, because her mama's there every day, right? But like I said, but if he's doing everything he needs to do, I mean, then there's no problem. Like I say, the money thing, y'all work that out or what have you. But like I said, the relationship between her daughter and that dude is important. And besides, if they put the man in jail, how else? Now you're making a bad situation worse. Put the man in jail. Now he can't pay child support and he can't see his child. So now the child won't know where the daddy is, and the dad and the mama's like, well, daddy, he ain't no good. He ain't paying no child support, and this and the third. I'm out here struggling. And the child doesn't understand what the hell you talking about. And trust me, look at the statistics. You can read stories, watch stories, and you will see a lot of children out there who grew up resenting their father, resenting the non-custodial parent, turn around and to resent the custodial parent because of what they did to keep them away from each other, to keep them from creating building a relationship between the non-custodial parent. And that's not what you want to do. I mean, I feel she did the right thing. Now, everybody's circumstance is not like that. Now, like I say, if he's abusive, it might have been a child of an immoral act, and y'all should know what I'm talking about. Like I said, he may be physically abusive, what stuff, things like that. Then I get it, understand. Hey, what I'm saying, pay off 5 criminal charges and keep it moving. And what I'm saying, then you like, then when once the child get older, you'll have a legitimate reason story to tell your child as to why the father wasn't in a relationship. But other than that, if it's just y'all don't like each other, you mad because he got some other woman or she got another man, y'all couldn't work it out, or he cheated on you and got other kids or whatever. Hell, if he there to take care of them, then by all means. Here's a story recently with two of Nick Cannon's baby mamas came out and said that he hadn't seen a couple of his children in a couple of months. But people try to say, "Oh, Nick Cannon got all this money, so it's so long as he got the money, that's fine." Well, see, the thing about it is, a lot of women, they don't know what they want. They'll say, "Okay, I need the money. Don't need you here." But then when he's not here, they get on TV or they go out in public and say, social media saying, "Well, he ain't been around in like 2 months. We ain't seen him. We don't know where he at. My guy, he's a deadbeat." Like what? But then let's say we don't need the money, we need your time, and he's there every day. But then you sitting there struggling to take care of the child. And now you saying he's there every day, but he ain't paying no money. I think he just be trying to come over here to get him some. It's always gonna, it's gonna be something. This is why we gotta begin to advocate for families. These stories are great that she's telling, but in the end, every story should end with we need to start advocating for families. We just got to. What I'm saying? All the choices and mistakes that we made in our generation and the generation before us, and even hell, even generations a little bit behind us, we need to stop it, try to fix it to where the next generations focus on family, husband, wife, family, and creating communities, because there's a lot of stuff going on out there that's like destructive, and it's like it's bad. And like these kids, they got no structure, no foundation. They out here somehow ain't got no job, but they got Dracos taking each other out, taking out innocent people, taking out old people, taking out kids, and that's just because they have no foundation. Grandma now ain't the same as grandma. Grandma, and grandpa was us. You know what I'm saying? Gen X ain't the same as grandma back in the day. Grandma, grandpa back in the day, who were quick to pull a switch out on you, quick to put you out there and do some work in that yard, do some housework every day, keep you busy, whoop your tail, slap you in the mouth if you say or do something wrong. It ain't the same no more. But then we got to get that back. But anyway, like I say, shout out to this lady here, man. For her circumstance, she did the right thing. Getting guys saying, "Can you go talk to my baby mama?" You know what I'm saying? If a dude is trying, don't let the courts take him out. I'll tell you like story when I was going to like child support court back in the day, and that dang lawyer that my ex had toward the end of the court hearing or trial, whatever the hell you call it, she gonna tell the judge that she wanna start proceedings to put me in jail because I hadn't paid child support. Because all the other hearings that we had. But see, that's how the system screws you. And I was like, and the judge looked at me trying to grin, what I'm saying? Like they got me, but they could, because I mean I was on top of my game with this, with the help of some people. But I told her, judge was like, "Mr. Coleman, why haven't you paid child support?" I said, "Your Honor, the money's in the account. The money been in the account since day one." And they all looking at each other looking stupid. I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "This ain't got nothing to do with me taking care of my child. I've been taking care of my children since before they were born, and they ain't stopping, ain't going to stop. This is about some silly ass visitation, and I don't understand why. I mean, it happens when you get a new woman and you get serious with them. A lot of women, but anyway, They look at me like I'm crazy. They got, they was upset with me. And they, like I said, but they tried to judge and the other lawyer, they all tried to get me. The judge made me like pay her court fees. And then what was it? It was because what they do is, and I told you, you go to different hearings and associate judge or assistant judge will make an order for you to pay. Okay. And once the judge makes that order, until they sign the gavel, they'll not, I mean, not sign the gavel, as soon as until they sign it, seal it, and file it, they're not going to pull, especially if they're pulling from your job, they're not going to pull child support. They're not going to ask for it in court. It's just going to be an order. And then you might go to another hearing, and it's still there. What you need to do if you're on that child support is whatever that judge says, go to your account and start putting that money in that account until they start pulling it from your job or until they start, however they're going to collect it. But you make sure that money's there. So once that gavel is hit and that order is signed and filed, the money is already there because the way they did me, I'll say like I had the money already there paid. But when when the last judge, because the first judge was like $100 every 2 weeks. But I mean, you got to think about how much I was making at the time. And then when the main judge, when she created the order and was trying to eat me alive and all this kind of stuff, and my lawyer told me that his constituents told him to settle this case out of court because the judge didn't like my attitude. Now, this was the first time I saw this judge, so it had to been like the assistant judge or the associate judge telling her about me. I had no attitude. I was just cocky, as people like to say. I wasn't cocky. I just had my stuff together, and I don't think they liked that. And I was just assuring myself. But anyway, now when she signed that order and filed it, now after that, it was a little more of a struggle working and going to school and trying to get the money to come up with that money before that was filed. Now, when that gavel hit, I think that went back. When that one hit, it went all the way back to the original filing. So let's say like the original file, like $150 a month every 2 weeks. Let's just say that. Or, well, let's say $300 a month. Let's just say that. The original with the associate judge, just to start. When that main judge, and this is just not hitting me now. I remember now. Good Lord, no wonder I was so pissed off. So when this one came, when the head judge or when the final court case was like a real court case, when she put the order in, and let's say it went from 300, let's say it went to 400 a month. That $400 goes all the way back to the original date that child support was implemented. And so now automatically, it's not like you're in arrears, but it's going to add an extra, I think it added like an extra $50 to what I owed every month. To where it's like, yeah, I had an extra $50 of what I owed every month. So now that's just taking it out. So it ain't like you're really in arrears, but it goes back because it was coming out my job. So coming my direct my job, my direct deposit. So I would have now I started, what I did is, so it's like an extra $50 a month. So I started paying extra every month. Every time I got paid, I paid extra. I forgot how much it was because the way it was set up is that extra $50, once it ran out, then it was another $50 because I think I only had to pay like 5 or 6 years. Because my daughter was kind of, she was in junior high, so maybe more than that, maybe about 5, 6 years, something like that. But the way it was set up is that I had to pay like an extra $50 a month for the rears or back pay, whatever you want to call it, the instant back pay, and then once I paid that off, it was paying an extra $50 a month to pay off her lawyer. Something like that. That's the way I calculated. So I went ahead and paid extra every month to get that back stuff done, get that back stuff paid because it go on your credit, regardless of how you look at it, how it happened. It go on your credit, but it was being paid. So I mean, long as stuff was being paid, I was straight. And then what's funny is once I did that, and then once child support was over, once I paid the lawyer fees and all that, because the lawyer fees they couldn't make me pay it right there. And that's something that she would have to go back and sue me for if whenever she got ready, but she never did. So then after that, I just went ahead and started paying. Once I got done with the child support stuff, then I started paying lawyer fees and paid that off pretty quick too. Uh, the funny thing is, once I was done child support, I got like a check. I got a check from child support office, the attorney general's office, saying, I paid this much over on child support. So it all worked out. But anyway, that's my story. Shout out to this lady here. Wish more mothers are like this. Like I said, all depends on the situation. Now, like I said, every situation ain't the same, but you got a situation like this, you need a baby mama like this. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you maybe a couple of minutes out your day, but it means the world to us here. If you would like to support us financially, now you can give a super thanks, super chat, super stickers, and you can go to the description box. There are a couple of links there like Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, to where you can support us that way. Now, if you would like something tangible for your dollars, and a lot of people do, you can always go to marlonmorale.com. You can hit our Shopify store, which link is in the description box also, or you can just hit the shop button below and check out all our luxury products. We have fragrances for men and women that last all day. We got beard products, 100% silk products, handbags, much more. Check it out. You'll not be disappointed. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.